Hello, everybody. Welcome to something a little different today. Guild Pack is trying podcast?
Talking.
We're talking.
Do talking now.
I don't even know if it, podcast. It's just like there's so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah. I'm Eric. I am joined by Bells.
Hey.
Also from Guild Pack.
I'll introduce myself, thank you. My name is Darian, and I'm also from Guild Pack.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So brave of you. Yeah. We are just here to talk about a few things that are going on in Magic right now. A lot of discourse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magic Con Atlanta came and went, and with it, obviously, the end of the year announcements of all sorts of things, and it got the people... Whoa.
Riled up,
yeah.
I know that discourse is rampant when it reaches me.
Right.
I don't use social
so
media.
far removed.
Yeah.
So if I know about it,
Yeah.
shit's happening.
Yeah.
Really quick, before we get into the discussion, I don't know which camera to look at. I'm going to look at all of the cameras. Could you please like? Could you please subscribe? Could you please hit the bell button? You could become a YouTube member. I don't really care. I do care. I care deeply because when you do those things, when you touch our video with your pristine little fingers, YouTube says, this is a video I will show to more people. And we love
That's
when
true.
that happens because it's good for us. So please touch our video. Anyway, the discussion.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Magic the Gathering has recently made some announcements that next year's lineup is majority Universes Beyond. I think more than their normal in-universe sets. I think it's 4 to 3.
7 sets, 3 in universe, 4 universes beyond.
Right.
Which comes just 1 year, I do believe, after Mark Rosewater said we will never have more universes beyond than in universe sets in Magic.
What are you doing, Mark? Come on, Mark.
Yeah, and we'll talk about you know probably why at least what we could assume. We're going to take a little bit of time talk about our views on Universes Beyond. I think we have a unique perspective because we are not only a newer channel, but a lot of people on our team are newer players, you know, and
Just a baby.
Have you hit a year yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Roughly, I think. Yeah.
I believe that this February will be 2 years I've been playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Magic.
Wow, that's happening so fast.
Stay in your lane, Bells.
Still baby.
Still baby. Yeah, and then you and I are at like 4.
Yes, but I feel like I've absorbed so much content that I've been playing for like 30 years. But yeah, so, you know, as newer players, our views on Universes Beyond may differ from other creators, people who've been playing for decades.
People who lived without universes beyond.
Yeah.
Like that is something in Magic that we've never experienced.
Yeah. So I guess I want to kick it off with, you know, what do you feel about Universes Beyond? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we started our Magic journey at Brothers War.
Brothers War
Was the first set that was out when we started playing. I did not participate in any of that. I did not really pay attention to sets or anything coming out. It was just rather that you and Mike had built me some decks and that I was starting to play and starting to get into it. And then I knew that like Phyrexia and All for One had come out, and that's when I kind of started paying more attention to Magic and what was coming out. And then Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings came out. I had just watched the movies for the very first time in my life. This podcast is not about that. I don't need the heat from that.
It is now.
And, you know, I was fresh on this shit does rock. You were correct, everybody in the world. This is amazing. And then to see it on Magic cards in a way that felt like it fit into Magic as well and had new ways of looking at characters and new representations just felt really freaking cool. And that was really when, you know, I bought some of my first Magic product ever. I was like, yes, I want a Hobbit deck.
Food and Fellowship.
I want Food and Fellowship. I want to be able to do this. I'm also interested in the elves and all the things, which I mean are like core elements to Magic anyway.
It really hit that like high fantasy.
Yeah.
In the realm, you know?
Yeah. And so it was really exciting to me. But it also, like you said, it's high fantasy. It makes sense in the world of Magic the Gathering. And so it's hard because Universes Beyond is something that really brought me into the game. And so, and I don't know, I like a lot of nerdisms. A lot of the universes beyond that we've seen in my time as a player has been stuff that like, I don't know, I genuinely enjoy. So I'm having a good time playing it, though I have some qualms, which I think we'll get into later. But like me, I like Universes Beyond. I think it has a place in Magic, even if it shouldn't be the full focus of Magic. And I really do think that it brings new players to the game that can then learn to love and appreciate everything that Magic has to offer.
Yeah, so you guys spent a really long time trying to get me to play Magic,
Yes.
and I said no and a bunch.
For like 2 years.
A long time, yeah.
Yeah, and then you finally wore me down, and it was not long before Assassin's Creed came out. And like I'm vaguely a fan of Assassin's Creed, but I wasn't very excited for that. I didn't buy anything for it. I remember we started making content about Assassin's Creed about when we were starting Guild Pack. That was one of the first ones I was aware of. There's been past Universes Beyond stuff that I've been excited to kind of learn about and get into retroactively. I'm a huge for Evil Dead, and there were the Evil Dead secret layers that I wasn't around for, and so one of my so far fondest Magic memories is at MagicCon Chicago, you and I going to every single booth on the floor trying to find and successfully finding all of the Evil Dead cards, and paying way more than I should have for them. And then I'm like collecting as many of the Godzilla cards as I can, because I also really, really like that big freaking lizard guy. Such a sweet dude. Shout out to you.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, Mr. Zilla.
Yeah.
Can I call you God? And then, like you said, Lord of the Rings fits.
Yeah.
It feels, from what little I know about Magic, it feels like Magic. I mean, for like the short amount of time I've been here.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like, obviously I can't speak for the history of Magic, but you know, yeah.
Yeah, feels like Magic the Gathering. And then I don't want to shift the topic too much, but I will say Spider-Man don't feel like Magic to me. I don't want to. I can't pretend to be an old head. Obviously, I've been playing less than 2 years. I can't act like, this isn't my Magic, because this is the Magic I came into. This is kind of my Magic.
Right.
But I don't feel swept away into a magical world of spells and witchcraft and all that when I play like City Pigeon and Mana Computer and things like that.
Yeah. Hot dog cart.
Yeah.
Taxi driver.
Yeah. I came into this and I was really excited for, like, I loved Bloomburrow. I loved Duskmourn. I loved Edge of Eternities. And like my understanding is that those were maybe even branching a little bit from what Magic usually is.
Yeah, very much so.
But they felt like they were playing in the space. Whereas kind of what I'm seeing now feels like the space is being asked to play in somebody else's intellectual property space.
Right, right. Like the Fortnitification.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
How do you feel about it?
so when I came in, because when I got into Magic, I was all in, as I typically do with any hobby I do. I was all in around Brothers War. I think the first deck I built was Rin and Siri. Really liked the dog cat stuff. And at that time, it was most of the Universes Beyond was Secret Lair. So it was like, The Walking Dead, which, I don't know, I didn't think was super in universe. They made the in-universe versions of them later, which I thought was great.
Right. They did that with D&D also, which was interesting.
Well, D&D...
It took a long time, but yeah.
D&D is a tricky one because it's like, is it in universe?
Right.
Is it not in universe? But they did, Walking Dead. I think we had Stranger Things at the time.
Oh, yeah.
The My Little Pony stuff had come out.
One of the first secret layers I bought was the Princess Bride set.
Princess Bride. And with things like that, when it was just strictly Secret Lair or just like extra cards and like Ikoria and stuff, it felt far enough removed that it didn't feel like I had to participate if I didn't want to. And I think that's one of the big changes that I've seen nowadays is that it's become either play with it or don't play with it to play or don't play.
Yeah. Be involved or don't be involved.
Or don't be involved.
In Magic.
And, you know, I think that if a card game can come out with set after set after set that I'm like, yes, this is for me. This is for me. This is for me. And it can keep doing that. Great. But I in no way expect a card game to release every set that is geared towards me.
Yeah.
That's just not realistic. I'm okay with the Spider-Man set not hitting for me. Maybe it did. And maybe it brought in, you know, thousands of people.
Right.
So Universes Beyond is kind of bittersweet for me.
What's been your favorite Universes Beyond that's released?
I mean, Final Fantasy.
Okay,
Hands down.
yeah,
I think that
that's
Final
fair.
Fantasy is one of the most amazing sets that has released in my time playing the game.
Like, it thematically fits into the game, but also the flavor of the set was so well done. There's so much care. It made me not only brought me further into Magic the Gathering, it brought me more into Final Fantasy.
100%.
It made me want to play more.
I played Final Fantasy games I'd never played before because I was excited for this Magic set.
Yeah.
Well, and that was one of the things I was going to ask is, do you think that part of the excitement for Final Fantasy Universes Beyond was because it once again fits into Magic the Gathering inherently so well? Like, is that why Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy are the biggest of big?
I do think they share themes in the fact that they're high fantasy.
Right.
I think, you know, there's magic, there's sword fighting, there's politics, there's like all those things that people love about Magic the Gathering lore.
Right.
Is very synonymous to things that happen in Lord of the Rings or things that happen in Final Fantasy. Like there's a lot of comparisons there. But with something like Spider-Man and I don't even want to say like all Marvel in general, because when those secret layers came out with Wolverine, Storm, Captain America, Black Panther, when I saw those cards, I was like, oh my God, these are well designed.
Yeah.
They're well thought out. You know, you look at the card, you see the effect, and you're like, yes, that is Captain America. He's throwing and he's catching his shield. Perfect.
Right. Wolverine regenerates.
Exactly.
Like,
exact
he goes fast.
Storms. Like, you know,
yeah.
it makes sense. But with Spider-Man, it was like, why does this character do what it does? I didn't understand. And I feel like I don't read a lot of comics. I do consider myself a Spider-Man fan. And even I was just kind of confused, you know? Characters that I know just didn't add up on card, you know?
Yeah, I don't feel closer to Magic the Gathering or to Spider-Man as a result of that set.
I agree. And out of all of Marvel's IPs, I am an X-Men fan first and a Spider-Man fan second. Like, those are the two things that I love. Spider-Man has always been one of my biggest comic loves. And I think I had really high hopes for the set. And it didn't do it for me. And I still am in a space where I'm figuring out how to articulate why. But I do think it's that. I think some of it is it doesn't feel like if I could just play Spider-Man isolated, like that's kind of fun. Like when we played all of our Spider-Man decks, like that feels fun. But I don't know if I ever am like, oh, I'm going to bring Spider-Man to the table while everybody else plays like normal Magic stuff. Like it doesn't feel like Magic the Gathering. And I also think it lacked a certain level of heart in the Universes Beyond that other sets have been treated with, which I think makes sense as we're starting to hear stuff about, you know, it was only supposed to be a limited set? Is that what people were saying?
Yeah, it was supposed to be closer to Assassin's Creed,
right.
where it was a smaller set.
It was small and it was little and it wasn't a big deal. And then, you know, people behind the scenes, be it Marvel or Hasbro, was like, no, let's go big. But we know, because I was at the live showcase and, you know, you guys watched it in Final Fantasy, they had been working on that for years to the point that Final Fantasy 16 wasn't even out yet when they had started.
Oh, really?
Yes. They said that they had only a few weeks before stuff had to be submitted. And so the entire creative team was like, moment zero, drop of Final Fantasy 16, play as much as possible, and then submit ideas. So, I mean, like, that's years in the making. I don't feel like, as a consumer and as someone who likes both of those games, that Spider-Man felt like it was years in the making at all.
I think it suffered because from what I've heard, it was originally intended to be a smaller set.
Right. Which I think is okay.
Well, I mean, I think after Assassin's Creed, I think flopped. You know, not a lot of people bought Assassin's Creed. There's a lot of great cards in the set, but not a lot of people open the packs.
Alexios.
Alexios Demos of Cosmos.
Yeah. And Regalia or whatever?
Yeah, Brotherhood Regalia.
Well, like there are some
real heaters in that.
Staples that I think work really well into decks. I know that I'm building Aloy right now, and there's desynchronization. Fantastic card for that deck. Like there's some real big bangers, but yeah, I don't think that like there was never really a conversation of like, we're going to build an Assassin's Creed episode.
And just for everyone, we are filming this currently a couple weeks before Avatar is released.
Yeah.
So just take into account, we have not seen Avatar yet. No. We've seen a few things, but high hopes. Just so everyone is aware of where we are in this kind of lineup of Universes Beyonds, because we're hitting that, and then we're hitting Lorwyn, which very excited for.
Yes, so
and then
excited.
We return to New York.
We return to New York for TMNT, which is, I think, a 190 card set, so it's going to be small like the Assassin's Creed. Oh. So I think it's going to be very interesting to compare, you know, how well those cards are designed compared to Spider-Man, which was originally intended to be smaller.
Right.
At least from what I have heard or gathered.
Right.
I'm really interested about how Avatar is going to go. What we've seen of the set, the bending mechanics look really interesting. It looks like there's a lot of potential to do cool stuff there. And I mean, I'll say I've never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm not intimately familiar with Aang or Sokka.
God, stop it.
I feel there's craftsmanship to the Avatar set, just in what we've seen so far. And I'm really interested to see if it is something that potentially brings me into Avatar
I
more.
hope you watch the show. I so badly hope that this leads you to watching the show.
Good.
Maybe this will make me watch it. I mean, I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan. I'll finally get into it.
Man.
Yeah, I'll see what everyone's been talking about.
Yeah. Well, and I think that Avatar is another one of those sets that, even though it's obviously very different than Magic the Gathering, it still falls into a level of fantasy that makes sense to me. And that might be someone who, because I've watched both of them, I've watched Avatar and Legend of Korra. Like I've watched full series, start to finish. I'm not like, I haven't read any of the comics or anything, but I've consumed all the media content. I plan to keep watching the movies and stuff. And it just feels like there's a place for it to fit. Like if you told me there was a plane in Magic the Gathering where people were using martial arts to bend elements, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Checks out.
That checks out. And that's already been done, and that's Avatar.
Right.
So it feels like it's okay for Avatar to be its own plane. But you're right, like Spider-Man just doesn't feel that way. And I even find myself being sad that it doesn't sound like they're going to print the in-universe cards of Spider-Man. Flame, but not just Flame. The Miles Morales card looks super fucking cool, and like I've never had a Universes Beyond come out where I've gone, oh, wait, but can I get that Magic Arena exclusive in universe card? Like that is telling to me of like, oh, maybe I do want what Miles does, but on a high fantasy card.
High fantasy card, yeah. And I think the way that, at least for me, the way that it was presented, because we were there for MagicCon when they showed a lot of Final Fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
And the way that it was presented, it was like those people presenting those cards and talking about those cards were almost jumping out of their seat. They were so excited to share with people. And I think when I watched the presentation of Spider-Man cards,
which probably feels a little different because we weren't there.
100%. But watching it, it didn't feel like that level of excitement. And I don't know if that was because that was just them feeding off the energy of the crowd,
right?
Or what. But it didn't feel like, I don't want to say that there wasn't as much love behind it, because I think that when they design sets, they really try and put love into it.
Right.
But it was just like they weren't as passionate about the set in its entirety.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is what happened behind the scenes, that they were needing to make a bigger set out of a smaller set and there was like a bit of panic, or I don't know. But when I watched the Final Fantasy presentation, you could feel the electricity in the room.
Yeah.
Like every card that they showed, it was like nuts.
Yeah, the two panels that I attended, MagicCon and PAX, you could tell that everybody in that room was waiting with bated breath.
100%.
And I think that people going into Spider-Man didn't feel that way because New York isn't a plane. And, you're right. It's not that the Marvel Secret Lair cards didn't perform well. They did. In fact, people were mad that they didn't get a hold of them.
So quickly,
right.
Yeah.
But there was something just about it that didn't feel like it had the same love. Do you think that Spider-Man would have done better just as a Secret Lair? Like, at what point are we pushing too far into Universes Beyond when things should just be a Secret Lair?
I don't know. I think that, one, I don't play standard.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't see how this hurts or affects standard or the meta or, so being a standard legal set, I'm not entirely sure that POV.
Yeah.
I think that personally, I thought that Universes Beyond things felt better to me when they were presented in a Secret Lair. Mm-hmm. Now, Secret Lair has its own problems, whether it's accessible or not.
Or just the fucking website.
Yeah. I do think that if it was in a print to demand Secret Lair that was available to everyone, I think I'd feel better about it.
It does make it hard when you're like, okay, so maybe we took Spider-Man and we made it into a Universes Beyond, and there are people or a Secret Lair, and there are people who want that, and then like how many of the percentage of people who waited in line for an hour are actually going to get that though?
Right.
You said something interesting that I want to go back to really quick.
Yeah.
You were talking about Avatar and how if somebody told you there was a plane that people were using martial arts to bend elements, that you could buy that. And how if, somebody told us there was a plane that's New York City and Spider-Man is in it, doesn't quite check out.
It's not just Spider-Man. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also.
Yes. Yeah. The New York City plane. It like got me thinking like, okay, how do I define what is appropriate for a plane? Because that feels like a good a good kind of litmus test is like, does this feel like a plane or not? And that can't just be based on a feeling. I can't just look at an IP and be like, I feel like this is appropriate or not. So I'm wondering if internally at Wizards of the Coast, do they have a rubric where they look at IPs and consider, is this appropriate for the world of Magic the Gathering? And are they moving away from that, or do they not consider that?
I don't know. Part of the announcement of MagicCon and all the new sets this year are also a slew of Secret Lairs. And if we're going to consider that part of that rubric, because I think that those Secret Lairs can be separate. They also are still in that bracket, A Furby, I could see a living creature Furby, maybe, yes. But like, I know that a Furby is like a toy with batteries in it. I have one on my purse right now. And I have a really hard time being like, a Furby could exist in a plane.
Secret Lair feels less offensive to me because it feels like I went into the extras menu in my video game and I turned on big head mode or something.
Yeah,
you turned on the bunny costume in Silent Hill.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, oh, here's my goof. There's 5 of these, and here's my goofy little guy. This is my cheat code that I turned on. So it feels like it should be less strict to that a rubric that I just invented. I don't know if that exists or not.
No, but I think that's a really good way to look at secret layers too. I mean, I feel the same way. A lot of the secret layers I've bought are sitting in a binder of like, I own these cards and I'm excited about them, but they don't necessarily need to go into decks. Like I was so excited about SpongeBob. You could not convince me that there is a SpongeBob plane. Okay. Like that SpongeBob is not fitting under that rubric for me, but I was really excited to have them. Have I made any SpongeBob decks? No, I haven't. But I'm very happy that I have my SpongeBob cheat code into the Magic the Gathering menu.
That option.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Or to
it boils down to a choice.
Right. Well, and it is funny to hit somebody with the SpongeBob counter spell in the middle of your thing. It is just a lull moment, like not like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's got to be way worse for standard players too, who are forced to play these whole sets. Like
whole sets, right? Secret Lair is never included in standard. It's something that is legal in Commander, but it's not legal in standard. Correct.
Correct.
So it's truly something that before now has been like you could ignore it in certain spaces. You do not get to ignore Final Fantasy or Spider-Man or Avatar. Though Spider-Man's a little different in this case. But like, I've stopped playing Arena since they dropped Final Fantasy because the power level is too high. It's not that I don't want to like engage with the IP. It's that they made busted-ass cards and everybody's playing the same three things.
Yeah.
Birds.
VB.
Birds and VB.
It's hard to make like a hard line stance about Universes Beyond because I loved Final Fantasy and I love Lord of the Rings, and I'm not excited for Spider-Man. So is it just my personal preference? Is it just IPs I like and do not like?
Right.
Or is there an underlying like flaw in the design?
Right. Does it fit, and is that why it works?
Yeah, not just the design, but the theme.
Right.
Like again, this imaginary rubric.
I actually really like that, and I think that's where there's an argument right now online too. Some of the discourse I'm seeing is people saying exactly that. So Universes Beyond is trash until it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you're okay with it because you like TNMT.
Yeah.
But then there are people like our friend, I've seen Nick Stone from Super Friends talk about it, where he said, I'm not saying that TNMT is good because it's Universes Beyond and because I love it. It's because I see these characters of turtles and rats in Kamigawa and Bloomborough.
Right.
So where, the plane is New York.
There's a relation that you can make.
Yes. Where do you take Spider-Man and put Spider-Man? Like, I'm still f***ed up about the New York thing, but I can take the Ninja Turtles, I can take the mutants and the Mutant Mayhem, and I know what plane I could put them in, presumably.
Yeah.
And I don't find a place for that for Spider-Man.
It feels disconnected, which is really strange because, like I said earlier, I didn't feel like the Marvel Secret Lair felt disconnected.
It didn't to me either.
And maybe that's because we were just given it in just like little small doses.
It was your cheat code.
It had a couple X-Men in there.
Yeah,
X-Men,
and it had X-Men. Yeah, so you're, and that's it. It's a bias, you know.
Yeah, but I think it's your little cheat code.
I'm just over here. I'm thinking like, how if I worked at Wizards, how would I define an appropriate IP to bring into Magic? If we're gonna put aside design flaw and we're just gonna think about like the theme, just the vibe of it, because Lord of the Rings vibes, Final Fantasy vibes, Spider-Man doesn't vibe, and this I'm not even talking about design right now.
I mean, is one of the things, I'm gonna say something super crazy, magic.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's kind of small essences of magic in Marvel and Spider-Man and stuff.
But it's small.
It is primarily kind of its just own thing.
And they've really, I think the other thing is like the MCU over the last few years has really emphasized things that like magic in the MCU or magic in the comics isn't magic. But a lot of them are like, oh, they're not this, they're a mutant, they're this, they are taking anybody that's like, oh, there are these things, they're like, oh no, there are words for these things. Spider-Man was bit by a radioactive spider. He's not a magic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's not the Pied Piper who uses magic to control spiders.
Yeah.
Right.
He is.
I would play that card.
I mean, that's what I think the in-universe cards are. I think there's literally a dude with like spider army behind him, and I'm like, fuck yeah, weird spider guy.
Okay, so I guess the question is what could they have done with the Spider-Man IP that would make you look at it and be like, oh, okay. Or do you think that it's just because it's Spider-Man, there was no way to fit it nice and neat into this magic puzzle that we have?
That's such a good question.
That's a really good question.
Again, I'm speaking from a vibe and not so much a specific design thing, but I might have even said this earlier. I feel like the Spider-Man set is asking all of Magic the Gathering to meet on its level, to come play in its world.
Right.
Whereas I feel like Avatar has been invited to Magic the Gathering. I feel like Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings were invited to Magic the Gathering. I can play my Nazgul next to some other nasty that came out in a set 20 years ago.
Right.
Whereas, Spider-Man is not bridging
the
a
gap at all. Yeah.
And I mean, we keep mentioning New York. Is it literally just that it's here?
It's too close to home.
Right, like if it was Batman and it was Gotham, would that be better because Gotham is a fictional place? And I mean, you can think about with all of DC. We know that Gotham is New York.
Well, you're throwing DC in with Marvel now?
Well, no, I'm saying that like we know we can pinpoint places that are in DC, and you're like, okay, this town is called this, but we know Clark Kent is from, I don't know, Kansas, Nebraska, whatever. But
Nebraska.
I'm sure that that's like whatever it's called in DC. I hate Superman, so I don't fucking know. Right, Metropolis, I guess, is probably your New York.
Yeah,
Like-
you're the Superman guy.
You're the Superman guy. So like, is that it? Is there just like enough suspension of disbelief because it's not somewhere that I can go visit? Like when I fly to New York, do I get to say I'm visiting the Magic the Gathering plane, New York City?
That's interesting because I know that when I read comics, like if I read Marvel comics, I love that they take place in New York.
I do, right.
Brooklyn. Like I love that.
I think one of the things I like about Marvel is that it feels grounded and real.
Yeah.
And part of that I think is that they're
So
from
where
here.
do we lose that when it's translated into
magic
cards?
isn't
Because
real.
magic, because
don't
we
know.
play magic for the fantasy, the lore,
escapism.
the escape. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool to see, like, if there had been, like, Spider-Man has been multiversed into magic and has to adapt to it. Like if there was like a sliver Spider-Man or like a Spider-Man with like medieval armor or something, like he had to play in the existing universe.
That's kind of what's cool about EOE is for a minute I was upset with EOE because I wanted like people in spacesuits, you know? And then when I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, if the people of the Plains of Magic the Gathering went up into space, yes, they look like knights and have swords because they're Magic the Gathering people that now are in space.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to look like normal day astronauts.
But does that kill the universes beyond? If we bring them into our universe, are they now just part of the magic lore and universe?
They are, right.
And not universes beyond?
I don't know. That becomes complicated. That becomes really complicated.
And I think this is a problem that Wizards faced.
Maybe,
I think that there were a lot of internal hurdles for them to jump.
There is a question: how much is Wizards of the Coast, and how much is Hasbro?
And I'm sure there were contract obligations,
right?
And like I said in the beginning, I don't expect every set to sing for me.
No.
I don't think that is
Sing for me.
Sing for me, magic. But I had mine. I had Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
You had Lord of the Rings. Like we had those. You had
something. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you like?
I don't even remember. If you asked me to name universes beyond that came out, I don't know other than this year.
I always say Dungeons and Dragons, but people get mad about it. It's, it's not universes beyond.
But I mean, like that is Like it was a Universes Beyond? What did it count as?
I don't know if it was categorized. I don't think Universes Beyond was like.
Well, that's the reason I'm playing Magic the Gathering.
Was D&D.
Is that I love D&D. And then you guys tricked me by making me a D&D deck.
We blindfolded her.
And then being like, check it out. There's like, a bunch of D&D characters in here and some Stranger Things shit. And now you can play that. And I was like, well, that is pretty cool. But yeah, I think there is a level of like, where do the planes become unrealistic? And I do think maybe that has some correlation as to why people don't like it.
And I'm like, I just want to say I'm not dumb. Like I understand Wizards of the Coast is a company.
Yeah.
And the goal of a company is to make money. And Lord of the Rings was the most money they made until Final
Fantasy, I think, broke a lot of records, yeah.
So like I understand fiscally why there are 4 Universes Beyond sets coming out.
And it's not just fiscally. And I think that's the other thing that people need to remember when we have this conversation, because we get a lot of the companies money hungry. They're just doing it for money. They don't care about the game. Every single one of these Universes Beyond sets has brought brand new people to this fandom. Every single one. I knew so many people as a gamer and a person who attends gaming cons and stuff, and with Magic the Gathering having such big presence at the last few gaming PAX conventions, they were even at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
There were Magic events at TwitchCon. Never in my time, I've been going to TwitchCon since like 2017, I think. Never would I have ever thought that happened. And more people are saying, I'm thinking about picking up, learning how to play, or at least collecting these cards because this is a thing that I love.
And that's good for Magic.
It's 100%. Good for Magic.
That's good for the game.
It's good for the game.
And I think like not taking price into account, because that's its own problem.
Oh my God, yeah.
Just the accessibility.
I don't even want to talk about that.
If you were to take yourself out of the game and just look at the pool of people who've played Magic over time, those people who the people who've been playing Magic for like 30 years, that pool of players stayed, relatively the same. Magic struggled for a really long time in trying to find, things that were going to bring new people in. And they tried a lot of things to bring new people in universe.
Right.
And having big events, like lore events and stuff like that. And it maybe helped a little bit, but nothing compares to Lord of the Rings and bringing all those people in. And I think that that's really what's important, is like, okay, maybe not every set is for you now.
No, it's not.
And that's just unfortunately how it's going to be, at least in this upcoming year. But now you have thousands and thousands of people to play with and share this game with. And, maybe they came in with Spider-Man and they like to play Spider-Man cards. So what? You still get to share this game that you have loved for a really long time.
Well, and use that as a branch to be like, and I do think that here's one of the problems. Okay, you loved Spider-Man. You loved Lord of the Rings. Here's Lorwyn. You loved Ninja Turtles. Here's Kamigawa.
Here's Bloomborough. Yeah.
I can't do that with Spider-Man as easily, but it is. Use it as an olive branch to be like, you love Spider-Man. Have you seen this thing that's actually in Magic? And then bond over that and create that.
That's really good. Because I was just thinking, like, why am I playing Magic? It wasn't because what was coming out around the time I started playing was Assassin's Creed, which again, there are good cards in there, but I don't care that much about it. But I started playing Magic because you two started playing Magic. You started playing Magic because D&D.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing, is Spider-Man brings in people. All of your friends are playing Magic. You start playing Magic as well.
It's a gateway
set.
And
sometimes it's like all of us are playing Magic. When SpongeBob came out, I was like, maybe Mads will play Magic if I build her a SpongeBob deck, and then maybe it'll be beyond that.
And if we bully her enough, it could happen.
But the other thing you said ties in really well, because Lord of the Rings to Lorwyn, Ninja Turtles to Bloomborough or Kamigawa, finding IPs that bring people in, but then make them excited for other parts of Magic. Like, I'm here now, and I get to look back at 30 years of this game and get and discover things and get excited for old stuff. And now I'm excited for Lorwyn. I was so excited for Edge of Eternities.
Right. If you had told me Lorwyn, just a name, I'd be like, okay. But you tell me Lorwyn, and then it's essentially the in-universe version of Lord of the Rings. It's got elves, it's got this, it's got this. I'm suddenly now like, hell yeah. That's the kind of high fantasy I love. Mm-hmm. I am excited for that. I get to visit that plane for the first time and fall in love with this.
Mm-hmm. That's the gateway sets that they need to have is it brings people in, but then keeps them because it feels like magic, according to this rubric that's floating in the air. It feels like magic, but it's something they know and love. And then when they're done with that doll, there's all these original dolls that feel like that.
And maybe that's just where Spider-Man missed. You know, it didn't have anything.
What's the next set? What's the next set after Spider-Man? I came in. I love Spider-Man. I played it. What's like that?
Well, and I do think that's interesting because this is also one of the first times since I think the first time that we're seeing it, that Spider-Man is being followed by another universes beyond. And I, as much as I am excited for Avatar, I actually do not think that's a great idea.
Well, I know Lorwyn got pushed back because I want to say of Spider-Man, because they made Spider-Man such a large set that it pushed Lorwyn back to 2026.
Maybe. Well, and I think you asked a long time ago, but what do you think would have made you like Spider-Man more? I think that for me, it should have just been the size of Assassin's Creed.
I think so
Assassin's Creed didn't feel like a drop. It didn't feel like a main set drop. When we did it, we were like, oh, cool, there's some Assassin's Creed cards. We'll kind of buy some of them. We'll look through them. We bought the secret lair for them. But like, ultimately, it was like, we just kind of moved on. And I would have liked that, I think, with Spider-Man. I think there are things about it I would have been excited about. I love Spider-Man, and I would have been like, hell yeah, this is kind of cool. And then I had the time to just move on.
Right. And I think that's the mindset I kind of have with like Assassin's Creed, that small set, where it was like, it almost felt secret lair-ish, where it was like, I could participate in this, but like if I don't, it's not the end of the world. I don't feel like I'm missing out on a ton. Or if I did miss out on some stuff, I can go back and, buy some singles. But it didn't feel like, oh my God, Phyrexia all will be one. Like I have to get this set. Like it's so big.
I think Warhammer was like that too, where Warhammer was different because Assassin's Creed was a limited set. Or no, because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know shit, but it was a small set. So was Warhammer. Warhammer was only 4 commander decks and 1 Goblin Secret Lair, and that was it, correct? There's no cards that exist outside of the 4 decks.
Right. It was the same thing with Doctor Who. Doctor Who, there was a set, but the set was just cards you would find in the decks, I think.
There's not, it's bigger than a Secret Lair because it's product, but it's not so big that there's collector boxes and thousands of cards to pull and, this and that.
I would have even been happy if it was just like a collector thing. They, instead of coming out with a whole set, they come out with a set like Assassin's Creed, but it's all like collector reprints and packs and stuff, something that a collector would be really stoked about.
Right.
But someone who's just a casual player doesn't have to participate in.
And I think that all of this that we're talking about is what the intention was for the Magic the Gathering Spider-Man survey that went out.
Okay, yeah, so fill me in. I'm vaguely aware some people were upset about a survey.
Yeah, and it's kind of transpired and gone through a lot in the week that it got really big. So if you bought Spider-Man product and Wizards has your email, you got sent a survey that asked you questions, and this is the first time they've really done this that I know, that I can recall.
I mean, I've never done any of the surveys. So
I've never, that was like a survey about how did you feel about Spider-Man, which I think is valuable to a company gathering metrics of like, they're going to find out how much product did you buy. They're going to find out if you played Magic before. Those are things that they can take that data and they can send it to future partners, whoever they may be. But a few of the things that really made people upset, especially on our side of the community, is they asked, did you watch any influencer content and who are those people? And then without thinking about it, the very next question was, do you think people negatively talking about the Spider-Man set impacted your participation and purchasing of the set?
Oh.
Not people, influencers. It was specifically, it felt like, name your creators, tell us if that made you not want to buy our product.
Oh.
And what we now know because we've had a staff member talk about it, is that was not the intention.
Yeah. People originally thought, well, am I just like throwing these people under the bus?
Yes,
Essentially.
are we narking right now?
I see. Okay. It's been confirmed that that's an unfortunate.
From what we've heard.
I can read it if we want that. I've got the post saved.
Yeah.
So Blake PR on Twitter, communications guy at Wizards of the Coast. I'm sure he's got more of a real title, but that is what his thing said. Communications guy. So he posted a picture of this is what, to what degree did negative influencer commentary impact your perceptions of Magic the Gathering Marvel's Spider-Man before the set released? And then, 1 to 5. And he says, hey, everyone, it's been a while since I've weighed in on something here, but since the influencer team reports up into me, let's talk about this question. First off, we don't and won't punish creators for having negative opinions on a set, even very negative. That's why we're making this content right now. We just don't do that. I'd like to think our history of working with creators who have varying opinions on Magic, various sets, and Wizards of the Coast speaks to that, which I think, as far as we know from the ambassadors that are each set, I think that does show true.
Yeah.
Second, while we always ask about creator influence, the focus on negative commentary is unusual and not great. We'll be talking about it internally. Magic creators are awesome, and they mean so much to Magic. This question gave the opposite impression, and that sucks. As some people have pointed out, the question doesn't even make a ton of sense, since negative commentary can't really greatly improve perception, unless you're really contrarian, which, fair. So my guess is some error was made along the way, but I am looking into that. In short, it is not a good question, but in no way are the results of this particular question going to be used as a lever to attack creators or change our creator strategy. Surveys are taken holistically, and your voices are heard loud and clear.
I think what someone had mentioned was that Wizards was very cautious as to who to make ambassadors for Spider-Man.
That was Kess Wiley.
Kess, yeah. And that this was maybe more of a getting information to be like, hey, Marvel, maybe we should have had more ambassadors. You know, maybe we should have been having more people promoting this set than the tight knit that they had, so that there was maybe more room for positivity. But
more room for first look, more room for advocating for a set before it releases.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't.
Or maybe it's used to be like, hey, Marvel, you pushed for a larger set and the community didn't want that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what some of this survey is too. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, instead of immediately jumping down Wizards' throats, which, I mean, fair. I mean, it did seem...
It's good to hold people accountable. And he says it looks like we made a mistake 100%. And we did not mean to do this.
Like you said, it was not a good question. It didn't look like it was presented well.
No.
Yeah, influencers bad, scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a great...
Which ones?
Yeah.
Point them out. Okay, so to switch things up just a little bit, what is an IP that... if they announced tomorrow, you would be like, yes, amazing. And now this doesn't have to fit whatever rubric you made up in your head. Just something that you personally would be like, amazing. And would you make it a whole set or would you make it a secret lair?
Thinking. What are my pet IPs?
I've got a good one.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'll start it off. This is personally just me. And I know that it's tricky because it involves Disney.
Oh, okay.
But I would love a secret lair, especially they did Final Fantasy.
Right.
Give us secret lair Kingdom Hearts.
Right. Let us make the Kingdom Hearts decks we all want to make. Yeah.
Give us, maybe the swords of like Feast and Famine, Swords of War and Peace.
Make a Keyblade.
As Keyblades.
And then give us Sora.
I don't care about Donald.
No.
I don't care about Goofy.
You need them.
No, I understand there's Lorcana. If you want those characters, go play Lorcana.
No, that's not what the secret layer bringing to Magic.
Give me Riku. Give me Kyrie.
I mean, okay.
The original characters.
Give me the Keyblades. I don't care about anything else.
Sora, Riku, Kairi, Axel, Donald, Goofy. Boom. You're welcome.
Triple partner, Sora, Donald, Goofy.
Triple partner.
3 in the command zone.
Yeah.
So Donald can continue to not heal you in Commander. Yeah.
Not one that I want to see, but one that I'm surprised hasn't happened yet. I've talked about this on stream a few times. Monster Hunter. Capcom has already worked with Magic the Gathering doing Street Fighter cards.
They did some of the cards in Foundations too. One of the artists did the Twin Flame Tyrant alt art. I think was a Monster Hunter artist.
I didn't know that. But Monster Hunter is one of those things where it's like they've got big monsters, they've got cool weapons, everybody dressed cool armor. They've already worked with Capcom.
They got kitties.
They've got kitties. They have. I mean, it's very similar to Final Fantasy in some ways, to the point that both of those games just did a collab.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that with how big of a popular video game IP that is, that it hasn't been brought into the game at all.
Well,
because it does feel like it makes sense. But I do think it would need to be a secret layer.
Yeah, and I think this might upset people. But
I'm ready to be mad.
I think that we are scratching the surface on what this Universes Beyond roller coaster that we're on is going to be. We have to think that they have a 5-year contract with Marvel, just Marvel.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. It's the Wild West out here.
Right.
Yeah.
I never thought Furbies, even though it's Hasbro.
Yeah.
Never thought Furbies.
Thank God it's a secret layer and I can just minimize that window and never look at it again.
I'm gonna play only Furbies against you for the rest of forever. You have one?
Like potentially set some sort of FromSoft collaboration.
Like
once again,
Souls,
feels
Elden
like
Ring,
it makes sense.
Sekiro.
100%.
I could any of those games.
I could
of
see
those
that being a
games.
plane. Like I could see
Yes.
easily
From Softplane.
from Softplane. Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I feel like all those games have the death is a huge part of those games, and that you're supposed to die a lot, and you die and then you come back and you try again, and your inventory is permanent. You can run into an area, grab a really great sword, and then die, and when you respawn you still have the sword.
That just makes sense to Magic.
Experience points are what you lose when you die, and you have an opportunity to get them back. I don't have specific ideas, but these feel like fertile ground for card design opportunities. The concepts that come in from software games, I feel like there's really good card ideas.
If your character dies with +1 counters or equipment, they go with it, and so when you recast it, it comes back in with its equipment and counters.
Exile, and you have to play a card or do something to get those floating.
Yeah, because it's always you have to go back and get your stuff.
Your echoes.
If you die again, though, it disappears forever. It goes into exile and it's permanently. Again, it feels like there are so many ideas that could come from that.
Okay, I've got two.
Lay it on
one
us.
that makes sense and one that is Bells' dream.
Okay.
I want Mistborn. And in fact, we just saw a TikTok yesterday that Brandon Sanderson is in Magic the Gathering headquarters touring. I know that everybody else wants whatever Stormblood.
Bro, give me Stormlight Archives.
Stormlight, that's what it is.
Paladin Stormblast.
No.
Give me Dalinar. Give me Shardblade or a Shardblade.
Mistborn. But the other thing I saw in some of those comments were people talking about they want Bryan Sanderson, who's a very prolific fantasy writer right now, truly pumping out more content in the fantasy realm than anybody else I've seen in years, and doing a killer job, in my opinion, as someone who's finished my first Bryan Sanderson book.
Did you say Bryan Sanderson?
Brandon
Sanderson.
Brennan.
Bryan's is
Brennan Lee Sanderson.
They want him to write for Magic. Yes, we could get a Universes Beyond, but wouldn't it be really cool if Bryan Sanderson just...
Stop. You have to stop. Put some respect on his name.
Brandon?
It's Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
Jesus.
That sounds like a fake name.
Broden.
Yeah. Big B. BS over here. Big B in the house. Wouldn't it be really cool if he wrote for Magic the Gathering and helped improve some of the actual lore of Magic the Gathering by doing that?
in-universe set written by Brandon Sanderson would...
It would be really cool.
Go so hard.
It almost feels like, going back to the IP I was just talking about, George R.R. Martin writing for Elden Ring, and you just feel his stink all over it, even though it is a FromSoft game.
Give some of that BS stink on the Magic name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dream IP, never happen. I'm telling you, Magic the Gathering Wizards of the Coast, if you need a girl, I'm in. I have ideas written down. It's Adventure Time.
Oh, okay.
Which I also think in some ways works because Adventure Time is D&D. The core that is Adventure Time is just, it's an episode, it's a series of D&D that then created its own lore and its own world, the world of Ooh, and that's cool. You could have Ooh, and then there are different planes in Ooh. There's the Candy Kingdom, there's the Ice Kingdom, there's the Goo, I'm so in. F***ing Finn and Jake suit.
Okay, so you touched on this a bit in the podcast that you did with Zia Nerd Girl.
Bad Time Bitches.
Bad Time Bitches. Of them talking about, K-pop and stuff to bring in
women.
A feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is a secret layer you think would do that? Did you say one on the podcast? I didn't watch it. I'm a supportive husband.
Bad husband.
He is a bad husband. You don't watch any of my content. That's fine. You get enough of me.
She embarrasses me.
Well, no, because I think the greater conversation of that was that you don't need to have an IP just to bring in a specific demographic. And my argument in that is that when you do that, it closes doors. You love K-pop Demon Hunters.
You know it.
It is probably one of your favorite things right now.
Yeah, 100%.
You love it just as much as women I know.
Golden, baby.
So why do we have to say that the K-pop Demon Hunter Secret Lair is for women? Because Eric's buying that. He's in the cart at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. It's in my cart. I'm buying 3 of them.
Right. So, I just don't think that there are secret layers, universes beyond IPs that need to be for women, for men, for anything. I think what we need things like Lorwyn that are head of art being Evan Fong, who has a feminine touch to her art, and you feel that. I don't think that there needs to be
Evan's art is just...
right, and you love Evan's art.
So good.
That doesn't mean that, Lorwyn is feminine
girly,
and floofy, and you're not gonna... But, there is a femininity to the art that appeals some women. It appeals to me. Art is important to me. And when old magic felt really ugly and masculine.
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it had its moments.
I think I look at old art and I go, ooh.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the idea of introducing a set or a secret layer or cards that are for women feels like the implication is that up until that point, every other card was for men.
Yeah. But also, I don't know. I like things, but...
What? You like things?
Do all women love Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Right.
A lot of them
You don't
do,
think that there is an IP that would unite the girlies?
I don't know.
At least, okay, so touching on kind of what we were discussing earlier, I'm sure there are IPs that would unite the girlies in a surface level
I'll say
manner.
it, K-pop Demon Hunters, I think would actually
Sailor
be a great...
Moon.
Okay, yeah. Sailor Moon, I think, is a really good IP that is kind of crazy that it hasn't happened yet. It's Magical Girls. Why have we not even touched on Magical Girls in Magic the Gathering? They've literally done it in League of Legends already.
And that feels like it would bring the girlies, but then also inspire them to explore, and the gays and days, and inspire them to explore the game further. Right. Whereas... the discussion about K-pop or whatever, it feels like
romantasy. Yeah.
It doesn't. You get the people in to play for that, but it doesn't have the Lord of the Rings to Lorwyn. Right.
So here's my large idea. 2027, magical girl plane of Magic the Gathering. I want to see what Magic's version of Magical Girls, Magical Girl transformation, there is a genre of that in New York. Yeah, we're going back to New York.
Back to
for
New
a
York,
third
Sex and the City, Magical Girl style.
Holy shit. I'm going to have sex tonight.
Yeah, Jessica.
Yeah. No, do that. Do an in-universe Magical Girl set. I think that appeals to the girls, gays, and theys. And can also appeal to men.
I'd make a tuxedo mask.
Your brother often talks about how he loved Sailor Moon and got made fun of for it.
Yeah.
There are men out there that love that kind of thing. Yeah. And then do a secret layer of quite a few cards, or even a mini drop of Sailor Moon.
I mean, I think just like a secret layer drop of just the Sailor Scouts would be dope. Even if they weren't mechanically unique cards, if they were reprints of things.
No, I'm just saying, give me both.
So good.
Give me both.
Yeah.
Magical Girl plain, which leads us to a secret layer Sailor Moon, secret layer panty and stocking.
Ooh. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Fucking way.
There's no way. It's panty, and then her flavor text at the bottom says "Stop being a cunt."
Yeah. It's like a like an Avacyn reprint.
Oh.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Oh my God, Feather and Avacyn as panty and stocking.
Pretty good. That redheaded dude. Guy at computer.
Oh. But yeah, I mean that. I mean that entirely of like, if you want to continue to like diversify and do interesting, like there are still Magic planes that are undiscovered and that you can do a lot with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are some other IPs out there, like League of Legends is a great example, where, I mean, it's harder because League of Legends isn't high fantasy, and so they can kind of do whatever. And I'm not trying to make the comparison between Riftbound and Magic. I'm not trying to tear apart anything right now. But what I can say is that League started of its own lore and its own characters, and then has come out with the K-pop version and the Magical Girl version and the metal band version.
Yeah.
And then they also have their own factions within that are also different. There's even the Big Robot version. In TFT, there's like a whole faction that's like, I don't know, what are you? Big Robot people. What is that called?
What is
Gundam?
that?
I don't know.
Big Robot people.
Big Robot people.
I'm in.
And then other stuff, like they have their own factions of like these ideas and these concepts. And I feel like there are so many unexplored concepts similar to that Magic could do. Like why not do a K-pop, but instead of it being K-pop Demon Hunters or whatever, like, can it not just be like our favorite Planeswalkers? People would hate that. People would fucking hate that. Somebody call Gavin right now. Gavin Valentine's about to be like, F Magic, don't do that.
I don't know. I think this next year is going to show a lot.
I think it's going to shake up a lot.
It's going to shake up a lot. I think, unfortunately, it's going to divide a lot of people. And I'm hoping that there's something that happens this next year that brings everyone together, whether it's a set or an announcement or something.
Yeah. Wizards has gone full send this year for Universes Beyond. And
As in next year?
As in next year.
Right.
2026.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lesson learned from it. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know. Is it going to be a further Final Fantasy Lord of the Rings lesson, or is it going to be a further Spider-Man Assassin's Creed lesson?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not smart enough to predict that.
Well, and I think there's one thing that we can all, and this was something I thought would be a bigger topic, but I think is very easily said at the end of the day, is that there's product fatigue. 7 sets of Magic, whether you've been playing for 30 years or you've been playing for 4 or 2, 7 sets of Magic is arguably too many, especially with the price of Magic cards going up every single time. Spider-Man shouldn't have been as expensive as it was for all of the reasons we have laid out today and more. There's no reason that Final Fantasy needed to be what it was. EOE being a little more expensive and having really great dual lands in there. Sure, I'm okay with that. But like, Magic is getting more expensive. The economy is going to shit. And 7 sets a year is too many. And I think one of the nice things is the people that don't want Universes Beyond, who say, I will not purchase it and I will not be a part of it, they get 3 sets a year, which is what they used to say they wanted, which is great. And if you're just a Universes Beyond person, you get 4 sets a year. But then there's the group of people like us where we like to partake, and we like, you know, Eric and I like to partake, whether it's an IP that we love or not, at least a little bit with every set.
Ooh, piece of candy.
And there are things that you're going to engage with and things you're not going to engage with, and that's okay too. And granted, the channel makes that a little different. You're always engaging at least a little bit, but on a personal level, you know, you're not. But 7 sets for those of us who want to stay up to date with the game and be involved and relevant investment is too many sets.
Yeah.
I will say, and this is my personal experience, I cannot say this is representative of a larger group, but like personally, I'm more excited for original sets. I am very excited for Lorwyn. I'm excited for Strixhaven. I'm excited for whatever the reality
shift,
fracture.
I want to know what that
whatever
is
that
so
is.
bad. Yeah.
I'm a pretty frugal person. It's really nice to look at the 2026 calendar and be like, I'm going to save a lot of money this year.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the big thing. I think 7 sets in 12 months, that's more than a set every 2 months.
Well, and 6 this year was already hard.
Right, but 6, you could justify, okay, well, there's 12 months.
Well, yeah.
A set every 2 months. But it's a lot.
And it never felt that way.
Right.
Because there's always other product. There's secret layers coming out in between each set.
Exactly.
And the other thing that's been really frustrating that I think goes with the product fatigue is that, like, we got announcements for the entire next year before Spider-Man even dropped.
Mm-hmm. We got Spider-Man before Edge of Eternities was finished.
The weekend that Spider-Man was being shown for the first time was the very first day you could even purchase EOE.
Right. I think that if
there's
Wizards...
no time.
I think that if Wizards could do anything that would make the community feel better, at least a little bit, this product fatigue and everything, is bring prices down. Because if there's one thing that tells your community, we only want the people who have money to play this game, is to make your collector boxes $750.
But that's not Wizards MSRP.
100%, but they're not enforcing MSRP.
Right.
They are giving it knowing full well that these, scalpers, these card shops are going to inflate the prices.
Well, and I know not every shop is a WPN.
Yeah.
But if there is some sort of way to say WPNs, you can't exceed X amount. You can't exceed double a product because Final Fantasy is going for what, 4 times MSRP?
Insane amounts, over $1,000.
It shouldn't be double MSRP. I already think that that's egregious. But if they could set a standard for WPNs, that would force a standard on shops that aren't. Yeah. WPNs are, going to have it for X amount of money. Even if my nearest WPN is an hour away, I will drive there to get it for a reasonable price versus the $1,400 for a collector box.
And I feel like I have seen more and more posts of people saying, well, I guess I'm just going to start using my printer more. Yeah. Because it's making these cards that you say are for collectors, for unattainable, and there's no reason for that, especially if you're doing something as divisive as making Universes Beyond more than your in-universe sets, which is going to frustrate
and shake up the
community. Also having them at an egregious price is, I think, like the cherry on top of a poop cake. Like,
I hope we quote that forever.
Like, it's just so, it's bad. It's bad. Like,
it's not good.
It's crazy to come after a year ago when Foundations came out.
Yeah.
And the marketing for Foundations was family oriented. The marketing.
It was very inviting.
It was inviting, and it was not just about bringing new players in, but like there was a lot of marketing that we saw that was about bringing children into the game and teaching children and having Magic be something that you play after dinner or before dinner with your kids. If the price goes up, you're losing families.
Well, and that's what happened is the price went up. It got bought up. You couldn't find Foundations anywhere. And if you could, it was like, the big starter pack, which sure is great. Right. But it just like.
But but like at what point does any set become out of budget now? Like you a year ago said that we want this to be something that you played 30 years ago as a teenager and now you're teaching your kids how to play. Well, that's not possible if you can't afford everything else in life and then the expensive hobby. It was supposed to be something that we could all come together on. And price, you're right, is what's pushing everybody away, no matter what kind of fan you are.
Yeah. It's made it a premium game. Yeah. Like you can't play the game as it's intended to be played without having a ton of money. Yeah. Like even, I want to buy a collector pack for my friend who really loves Spider-Man. Well, suddenly that's $50,
bro.
Or more. Or my friend doesn't play Magic, loves Final Fantasy, and I want to get them a Final Fantasy pack. All right, $130, $140 for a Final Fantasy pack.
Yeah.
Like, what kid
right.
is able to do that? Because I know when I was a kid, and this is very different. Well, a different time, I understand. I'm old.
And different games.
Different games. When I was a kid, it was like, man, I scrounged up like a week, 2 weeks of allowance to go and buy, you know, a handful of packs, hoping I pull something cool. Now, if I gave my kid $20 a week in allowance, $20, they would have to wait like a month before they could buy one collector pack.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, my grandpa we would walk to the store and he would buy me Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
And like that was one of my like big things. But I think one of the reasons he did it is Yu-Gi-Oh packs were like $4, $3.
And I get that and
they were so special and so impactful for me.
Yeah.
But like that's one of the reasons why I think people play. That's literally one of the reasons, because we were 15 when people asked us to play Magic the Gathering for the first time.
Yeah, about.
Probably.
Yeah.
And we obviously ignored it for X amount of time. I won't disclose because we're old now. But like there is something about Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and One Piece and Dragon Ball. Like there's all these new TCGs coming up and there is a level of people are playing them because they're cost efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know like collector packs they're collector
You don't have to buy
packs. You don't have to buy
packs,
collector packs. But, you know, what did you want when you were a kid? Did you want...
You wanted holographic.
You want the shiny.
Yeah.
You want the cool design. And unfortunately, that comes in collector packs.
Yeah.
And, you know, why... And I think this is a big problem with Pokemon now. Is like, why would I spend all this money when I could have them get into another game and they spend $5 a pack and they still have fun? Like, I feel like you're driving people away.
Yeah.
It's a wedge on top of a wedge that Universes Beyond is just
making worse.
It's
Yeah.
It's exploding.
We're wedging.
We're wedging. Not the cool wedges like Mardu or Jeskai. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that covers a lot of... We did get a comment the other day that said, why are we not talking about this kind of stuff? Which we are. I think we talk a lot in some of the live streams that I do through GP.
I think if you play Magic, you're talking about it.
Right. I think there's lots of conversations in the building when we're getting ready for things. I think there's lots of conversations at the table, whether the table is here, the table is at home, or at our places that we play Magic outside of here. But also some of it was waiting because we do want to have these conversations with y'all when there's enough to talk about.
Yeah.
And so I would love to ask all of you guys, we want to hear your opinions. Even if you are a Universes Beyond hater and you've hated every idea that we've put forth or everything we've said, I want to know. I want to have those conversations with y'all because I think that you guys are valid. Just because I enjoy Universes Beyond generally, and I really love some of them, and it brought me into this game, it doesn't mean that your opinion on the thing is wrong by any means. And I never want y'all to feel that way. And I want to know what you guys think. How are you feeling with the product fatigue? What are your issues with Spider-Man? What is your fake imaginary rubric?
Yeah, I would actually love to hear your thoughts about the rubric, the whatever internal document may or may not exist at Wizards of the Coast. How do we determine an IP that blends with the world of Magic the Gathering, that brings in people who are excited for the IP, but also keeps them to get excited for the original content as well? And is that rubric being followed? Is it not? Is Spider-Man an example of those guidelines being ignored? Like, what do you think makes a successful set?
What bullet points do you have to hit? Yeah.
Should Universes Beyond stayed Secret Lairs?
Yeah, or even like Ikoria and Lost Caverns of Ixalan, where it was just kind of sprinkled in.
Oh yeah, you could get Jurassic Park cards just randomly intermixed with your
I didn't
stuff.
mind that.
I didn't like it.
And again,
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. No,
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great. And just to reiterate, again, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Yeah. We are fairly new players, considering the game has been out 30 plus years.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with us. Mm-mm. We just thought that giving an opinion from people who are fresh to the game would be a little different than, people who have been deeply ingrained for decades.
Right.
So tell us what you think. Tell us what IPs would get you pumped.
Tickle your fancy.
Yeah,
what's going to pump you?
Even if you hate Universes Beyond, but you're like, well, this one thing would, maybe
right.
If
I could just have one thing,
let us know in the comments because we love to hear it. I'm sure you can have some conversations with people in the comments about people who also like your ideas or agree with you. Just let us know because it's a conversation and it should be happening with everyone. It should be happening respectfully.
Yes.
And people should just have an open-minded conversation rather than shutting people down. I think that's the most important part.
And really quick, because I know it seems like we're kind of closing out the video. Please hit the thumb button. Please hit the bell button. Please hit the subscribe button. I know they're all asking you to do it. It sucks so much and you hate it, but it really does help us. We really do need it. Please do it for me. Please do it for me. Yeah. Anyway.
You could become a YouTube member too. I won't beg like Darian, but you could.
I'll beg.
I'm not going to grovel like this guy.
It supports the channel and it makes us so that we can do all sorts of stuff, like building a new space just for Guild Pack. Thanks y'all for watching. First podcast, every Magic Channel podcast. So Guild Pack also podcast, I guess. But yeah, not an original idea, but we're bringing our own original ideas. And if you have things that you want to see us yap about, we are professional yappers. Drop those in the comments as well, and maybe one day we'll get there.
One final big question.
Yeah.
Guildcast, Packcast, Guild Packcast.
Guild Hall.
Guild Hall, that's not bad. I'm replacing pod, so let's replace cast. So Pod Pack, Pod Guild,
Podcast.
Whoa!
Oh my
we did it, guys!
The first episode of Podcast.
Coined.
Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you later.
Bye.